some NBA news is going down, so we figured we'd pop on for a little episode here on the Drive and Dish NBA podcast.
That is the most generous description of what's going down I think I've ever heard in a summertime episode.
And here's the thing, I'm genuinely excited for this episode because I think my microphone's working again. For anybody that's listened to the past few episodes with me, a little behind the scenes cool tech audio nerd stuff. I've been using AI technology to fix the podcast to make it sound better and not roomy. I don't even know if you knew that, Kevin.
No, I did not know that. I've just been editing on Audition when regular old Audition when it's me.
Dude, I'll have to send you it. They call it well, again, listen, they're not paying us, so like
Adobe we'll talk behind the scenes, but yeah.
Adobe cut the check.
No, please, actually.
They have a thing called Adobe Podcast, and we use Adobe through my work. So one of the things that they have is an AI sound cancellation type thing. So like in a room, obviously it kind of sounds echoey if it's not padded up. And this thing like takes it completely out. Now the problem is it only looks for or listens for voices. So if you go back and listen to some of the podcasts that I've been on with you in the past I would say month and a half since Quinn's been born, if you listen, whenever I laugh or whenever you laugh or whenever we accidentally talked over each other, the AI technology wouldn't know what to do there. It would just take it out completely. So another little like funny thing that I was laughing about is the intro music to our show. It can't tell that that's not a person. So when it sends it back, it's like a very weird robot-y sounding voice going like boom, chick, chick, boom, boom, chick, boom.
Oh,
and it's like
God.
some gremlin making noise. So I deleted that out and would put it in the regular bed. Again, that's a little behind the scenes audio nerdy stuff for you, but I think the mic's working, so I probably won't have to do that this time, which is exciting.
Yeah, okay, there we go. I truly didn't know that. I've just been editing here on regular Audition.
I thought about one time, seeing if you notice it, changing my voice to be like Squidward the whole time, and being your voice be like Mr. Krabs the whole episode.
Do that on the April.
Can you imagine?
Do that on the April Fool's Day episode. Put something out real quick.
Have you seen the videos they've been posting of AI like Plankton singing like Adele?
I did see the one Plankton one. I forget what he was singing, but I did see that one in particular.
There was one Mariah Carey. He was singing the Christmas Mariah Carey song, and dude, All I Want for Christmas, Plankton slayed that. Like he really.
It's really. I mean, we could have a whole podcast about AI. Obviously, I have a lot of feelings about it as a whole, but there are some incredible things it could do. Some peak unsettling, incredible things that it could do.
Peak usage is having Plankton sing any kind of top 40 song. So
that's exactly what they were thinking when it came in mind. Is just get those SpongeBob characters singing top 40.
Well, and again, not too much behind the scenes, but yeah, our company essentially sent out an email telling us like we can't really use too much AI from a security stuff standpoint. So I don't know what they were alluding to, but that's what we've been told. So this podcast, I've been breaking some rules to fix up a little bit.
I also have like 3 jokes that I want to make to you, but that's behind the scenes. So we'll keep that for the outro as well. In the meantime, though, warm-up jumpers, we are going to play some Immaculate Grid because I really can't get enough of this game. I've been playing it daily, and so I'm really, really excited to get this on the podcast here. I've only been doing NBA and NFL. I tried, like, God bless, and shout out to Joe Pantorno for coming on last episode. He does the baseball one, and he just knows all those, like, the Tungsten O'Doyles of the world and such.
Right, I'm just not going to get that. I'm just not going to get that.
We're not going to get there.
Hockey, baseball, no. Although I pitched this to our company, like doing a get it? But I did pitch doing a like pop 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon-esque type thing. They shut me down. So, somebody that's got better coding skills than me take advantage of that idea and maybe make some money on advertising on the website if it does well. And if it does, let me know the numbers so that I can send it to those people that told me no and been like, look what you missed out on.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Okay.
I don't know this one because the last time I said that on Twitter, I said I wanted a basketball one and that I was waiting. That's when I got this one. So
Yeah, I mean, let's speak it into existence. Got to start that way.
Should we go in order for this for the podcast listeners? Do we want to go in order one at a time to like explain what we're working with? And if we get stumped for more than a few seconds or so, we'll move.
Yeah, basically we'll work our way through because I don't want to burn our guesses, like that always is the question. But for those who are watching the video, and if you want to watch the video version, subscribe to the podcast, Driving Dish NBA podcast on YouTube. But so it's the bingo board or the tic-tac-toe board, I should say. It's not quite a bingo board entirely. But so there's 9 squares. The 3 across horizontally from left to right are the Houston Rockets, the Memphis Grizzlies, and a top 3 pick in the NBA draft. And going down vertically from top to bottom on the left, you've got the Atlanta Hawks, the Lakers, and the Brooklyn Nets.
I got one.
Okay. Fire away, Justin. You got first one.
So let me do this just so I can feel like I contributed, right?
Okay.
I want to go middle Lakers all the way to the end with Lonzo Ball.
Okay. You're right.
He was top 3, right?
Ball is
he
number
was
2.
Top 3?
Yep. Nope. He was number 2 overall for sure. He was behind Markelle and ahead of Tatum.
There we go.
Man, there we go. Good start, Just. All right. I like that one. And honestly, that's probably not who I would have thought of as the first one, as the top 3 pick in the Lakers draft. So I like it. The rarity is there at 18%.
Not to get off sports topic, but I was playing this with Nicole's brother during vacation, and there was a Washington Eagles connection. And dude, I put James Thrash.
Nice, dude. Nice. I did actually know that too.
And it was 0.8% used. I was nobody remembers this guy.
Fun fact, James Thrash came to a Springford high school football game. I don't know if it was like part of a thing, but he came to one. He was signing stuff after. I've got it somewhere, and I promise we don't need to go down because that's super obscure Eagles. But all right, I'm gonna start top left then. I'm not gonna go in order, but I'm gonna try to do it a little bit. So for Houston and Atlanta, let's go with our man Lou Williams, Mr. Sixth Man himself.
I feel like he could probably work for a lot of connections.
He is. Lou Will is somebody that can definitely move around a little bit. Ooh, 6.4. Okay, I'm happy with that. That's semi-rare than I expected, just because Lou ended his career with Atlanta, so you thought people would remember that. I guess he wasn't on Houston that long in the grand scheme of things. But regardless, we move. Who we got next?
So I'm trying to think of a connection for the Atlanta Hawks, Memphis Grizzlies. I feel like it's a big man for some reason.
I mean,
whatever, Zach Randolph was the first one, but I don't think
Zach Randolph definitely didn't play for the Hawks.
He didn't play for the Hawks. He was the first name that came to my head when I was thinking it, though.
All right, so there's a couple I know definitively.
Okay.
One of them is really random, but the obvious one for Houston and Brooklyn is, and you could use this person as well for a top 3 pick in the NBA draft, but the obvious one for Houston and Brooklyn is James Harden.
Oh, I was also going to ask, do you remember, was it KJ McDaniels for the 76ers? He then went to Houston. Did he end up at Brooklyn at any point?
Probably, but I'm not confident enough to guess it here. Like,
when you got a James
Harden. Remember that,
dude? I think he played. I almost want to look that up. KJ McDaniels. We won't use him, but Daniels. Did he play for? Because that would have. He did.
Wow. Nice. Okay. Wow. Okay. That would have been.
I wonder what that percentage would have been. Yeah, very low.
We'll check after. I mean, I guess if we want to go obvious, the next easy, simple one is if you go Grizzlies and Lakers, you can do either Pau Gasol or Marc Gasol. Pau is the more obvious one because Mark wasn't there very long.
Yeah, you want to go Mark, maybe lower percentage?
I just want to make sure I don't need to use Mark anywhere else. But yeah, no.
Oh yeah. Hold on.
Mark is probably the lower percentage for sure.
Because Mark's not going to be Memphis.
No, he didn't play with the Hawks. He didn't play with Brooklyn. So yeah, we can use Mark.
You want to try Mark?
Yeah.
Let's see. Yep, 35%.
35. Wow.
I wonder if Paul Gasol was more percentage wise. I feel like
Definitely. Powell is one of his numbers retired for the Lakers. He's got to be, and he won Rookie of the Year with Memphis. So it's
yeah,
not like
but
he had an
I don't know.
insignificant
Like
career there either.
I feel like they're almost swapped though. Like obviously, I think of Marc Gasol, I think of Memphis Grizzlies. You think of Paul Gasol, you think of the Lakers. You don't really think of the other
No, I agree,
as much.
but I think you think of them playing with both a little bit.
Yeah,
Maybe less
yeah,
with Mark, obviously, but I mean, Mark started his career there. That's the thing. I mean, he was involved in the trade with his brother.
Rockets, Lakers.
Brooklyn for the top 3 pick. You can do either Kyrie or Kevin Durant, but pick your poison.
Which one do you think is going to be the lesser percentage? I feel like both are going to be pretty high. Let's go Irving.
You probably Kyrie, yeah.
14%. Okay.
Yeah, 14. I mean, KD was 2, Kyrie was 1.
Yeah.
Obviously Kyrie drafted by Cleveland, KD drafted by OKC.
Who we will talk about later because they bring in their coach.
They do. That's coming up later on in the episode, of course, with the Jaylen Brown extension as well. All right, so Houston and Lakers, there's a couple, like, I have a really random, rare one that I think we could get. I'll come back to that. I'm just looking. I'm surveying real quick. Atlanta, Memphis, Brooklyn, Memphis, and a top 3 pick in the NBA draft.
For the Hawks.
Yeah, for the Hawks. So who did they draft? Because that's the thing is, it's not like they didn't have to draft the player. That player just needed to have played there at some time.
Okay. Yeah.
And so I'm trying to remember who they had hire quick. I mean, what
like
is
Trey?
Is Trey a top 3 player technically?
Was Trey Young top 3?
Because did Luka go 5 or Trey go 5?
I thought Trey went after Luka.
I think so too.
I thought Trey went later than 3.
All right, I don't want to burn.
I hope I'm not wrong about that, or I'm going to sound like an idiot.
No, I know, but I don't feel confident about it enough either.
Do you want me to look it up to at least give us the clarity on that one?
No, we can't cheat because that may have to be the guess one day. So I don't want to throw it away in case it's the guess. We'll take our lick and get it wrong. I mean, who else? Like, I'm not confident enough about Dominique Wilkins. Joe Johnson, I don't think was a top 3 pick.
Oh man.
Who else has been really good? Dude, I think was Horford top 3? I think Horford was top 3.
Horford top 3?
Yeah, and I feel good.
You want to try it?
Oh man. Yeah, I think it has to happen. Oh, the Florida guys went early, and I think Horford went first because Horford went before Joakim Noah, and he went before.
What about where was? Because wasn't Vince Carter on them at the end of his career, and was he picked higher?
I don't think he was top 3.
No, okay.
No, Vince Carter was definitely on Atlanta at the end of his career.
Yeah.
T-Mac wasn't there. I feel good about Horford. We'll come to that.
Horford, you want to try it?
Yeah, I guess I feel good about that. I think we're getting it right.
Fingers crossed. If you're listening on the podcast, you might know this answer already.
Always,
it is right.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I thought he went number 3. Okay. Memphis and the Lakers. All right. So Houston and the Lakers. Just because I want to get this out, and tell me if I'm hogging the ball. Like if you got to guess,
no, you're good.
Really confident about something. How about this?
I'm not.
Try Tariq Black.
Tariq Black. Wow.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I want to see how rare this is. You're probably gonna have to go. Yeah.
He's right here.
I'm real. Yeah, 1.4. That's what I'm talking about. I have no idea why Tariq Black. And shout out to Tariq Black if he's by some chance listening to this. I have no idea why he came to my mind first for that. But again, just sitting there chilling.
All right. So for the podcast listeners, we got 2 left. Both Memphis Grizzlies teams. Then we need to find a connection with the Grizzlies and the Hawks, and then the Grizzlies and the Nets.
Okay.
Oh,
I feel we're gonna think about this. Was Rudy Gay on Brooklyn at any point?
Rudy Gay on Brooklyn. He went to the Kings, and then he went over to the Spurs. Where was he at before that? Yeah. He wasn't on the Hawks for sure, but Brooklyn.
It would be a Brooklyn guess. I don't think he definitely wasn't on the Hawks. Hawks wise, I'm trying to even think of deals that they worked out recently, and who's moved out of Memphis because
I
Memphis
would
is
love
more.
to see I would love to see teams that have traded with each other the least. You know what I mean? Like
Oh
the
yeah,
least amount of exchanging in all NBA history would be
I mean I'm
crazy.
sure it's out there. Let's see. I mean
Yeah.
we because man, because I don't want
Mm.
this turn to Jeopardy. Like I do want us to be on the clock here eventually.
Doo, doo, doo,
Um,
doo. I know. At some point, we got to pull the plug on it so that we don't
yeah,
bore everybody. And
Atlanta.
honestly, again, behind the scenes editing thing for the podcast side, I'll edit out our big pauses so it doesn't sound like
Oh,
we're
that's good.
stopping for
That
too
does
long.
make me feel a little better at least.
But video wise, YouTube's not getting touched because I don't want to have to render a whole
No, well,
podcast
and
video.
video wise, it's a lot more appealing to be quite
Yeah.
honest from that front.
Memphis Grizzlies and Hawks. Dude, if you told me they never traded between each other, I'd almost believe you
No,
right now. But I know there's an answer.
Brooklyn's had so many guys go in and out though recently, and that's kind of my
Yeah.
thing. Is it's like who ended up on Memphis and who's been to Memphis? Like I don't know why I have Royce O'Neal stuck in my head.
Royce O'Neal. Oh gosh.
I have Shamit hasn't been on Memphis. He's a guy who's moved a lot.
Shamit, yeah. Where didn't what's his name just get traded to? But no, never mind. That was a Suns. That was Suns trade. Never mind.
I mean,
Um,
who's been good for the Hawks recently? Like
Trey Young. Well, what about Schroeder or was Schroeder on Memphis at any point?
I don't think so. No.
Not
Um,
Brooklyn. Schroeder. What about Jeff Teague?
I think you know what I think you're right about Jeff Teague. I think Jeff Teague was on Memphis. Try Jeff Teague.
Teague.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's right.
Oh, we
Oh
got it
man,
wrong.
damn! I felt good
Okay.
about that. He was definitely right about Atlanta.
Jeff Teague, man, where did he go after that?
Oh, Jeff Teague was all over. I mean, he was in Minnesota.
I know.
Uh,
Minnesota is for sure. Hold on, I'll pull up his basketball reference right now for clarity. Um, okay, it's taking a second. So he was Atlanta for a while, Minnesota, back in Atlanta, Boston, Milwaukee,
I just thought of somebody that was on Brooklyn and Atlanta, but
Indiana.
that doesn't help.
No,
I think it's who actually. Joe Johnson would have been easy for that.
yeah,
All right, for Memphis. I mean, grit and grind. It's none of those four.
yeah. Like
Mark,
Zach, like I know Zach Randolph ended over on the I keep going
they,
back to him, but he ended up on the Kings.
yeah, they all left. Mike Conley left, but
Yeah,
he's never been in Brooklyn.
Conley was never in Atlanta.
Dude, guess Rudy Gay. Just because we got to end this eventually, and I don't know
Brooklyn
why.
and Memphis. You want to go Rudy Gay?
I feel like we're bricking it to be quite honest, but I'm going to at
Okay.
least guess it. And shout out to everybody who's screaming at
Nope.
us right now. Okay,
I
all right.
know.
All
There's a
right.
score. We scored. We did well. No, not great.
Can we get an answer? Well, I mean, wow. I mean, everybody's cheating. I don't take that seriously 100% too.
I know.
All right. What
NBA player that
do we?
played. I'll look up the answers for us.
Oh, it doesn't give us. I know the NFL one gives you the answers in a mode if you try to share yours.
Oh,
Try copy
oh,
grid.
copy grid.
Oh,
Nope.
okay. It didn't do anything. All right. If you click the
No.
box, it doesn't give you an answer.
Nope.
Oh, that's disappointing.
Oh wait, maybe down here. Oh no, yeah, no, it doesn't.
All right. Well, we'll look at that in the meantime. Welcome everybody to the Driving Dish NBA podcast. My name is Kevin Rayfuse. Joining me as always, my co-host Justin Kuzart.
And my NBA player X post, I think we have to call it now, right? Because it's not Twitter, it's X, whatever that means.
Oh my god! I was like, "What are you talking about?" I was like, because I know who you're talking about. I'm like, "We mean that ex NBA player, dude." Again, don't even get me started. Why on earth would you change the bird to an X?
R.I.P. to the bird, man.
It's crazy. The bird deserves so much better.
Oh wait! Would Birdman have been an answer?
I don't think so. No.
No. Okay, sorry.
No.
It's just like that would have been
No,
really hilarious.
No, I don't think so. And to recap, by the way, our top 3 picks for Atlanta was Al Horford for the Lakers, Lonzo Ball for the Nets, Kyrie Irving. We got Grizzlies and Lakers. It was Marcus Saul. We got Hawks and Rockets. Lou Williams. Rockets and Lakers. Excuse me. Tariq Black, and Rockets and Nets. James Harden. We did not get Grizzlies and Hawks. We did not get Nets and Grizzlies. So if you have somebody in mind, tweet us at Refuse to Lose, at Justin C on the air. Anyway, who's tweeting from X today?
Well, it wasn't I guess it was technically today, actually. The tweet reads, "I want to thank the countless people sending my family love and prayers. We feel you, and I'm so grateful. Everyone's doing great. We have our family together, safe and healthy. We feel your love. We'll have more to say when we're ready, but I wanted to tell everyone how much your support meant to all of us. Hashtag James Gang."
Yeah, I mean, obviously LeBron. I feel like, I my bad. I didn't know if you were going to say something after James
No,
Gang
that's
or
it.
not, real quick.
That's it.
But no, that was yeah. So LeBron and that talking about Bronny, of course, going down, scary situation. Bronny, who's
Yeah.
committed to USC to play his college ball, going down at practice with cardiac arrest. Thankfully, in stable condition, has been released from the hospital, as LeBron just talked about. The training staff and everybody on there thankfully reacted quickly, and this didn't get any worse. But yeah, an extremely scary situation. I mean, they've said that his heart has been healthy in all previous physical exams. There weren't signs of any defects, but sometimes it just happens, like it, and that is one of the scary things about it. Is, I mean, Bronny James is 18 years old. This is not, heart problems are uncommon with people that age.
And
So
with someone that's supposedly like, that physically fit.
I don't think
And
supposedly. I
yeah,
think he's a
yeah.
D1 athlete. Like, the guy is clearly
Right.
in shape. And I just, again, I'm sure we'll learn more as doctors continue to evaluate him over the next few weeks, and whether whether he gets back onto a basketball court, what that timeline is looking like. God forbid, if we're hoping this isn't something permanent. Either way, though, yeah, scary stuff for Bronny, who has, beyond the fact that it looks like he has an NBA future, has a college basketball career ahead of him, is an 18-year-old kid. And I think that's the most important thing here is, we're not going to dive down Justin and I are not doctors. We're not going to remotely try to figure out what's wrong with him on this podcast. We just, obviously want to say prayers up for Bronny. That's crazy, man. Like, with that, those tweets got blown out, and like, that's just, again, he's 18 years old. Like, that's just a crazy situation that thankfully did not get worse. Again, and big shout out to the training staff and everybody who was on scene and responded and
Yep.
got there adequately, and again, a good tip to everybody to not just, know CPR and get certified, but, if you're at a workplace, know where your AED is. Like, the AEDs at this point will talk you through it. Like, it will give you step-by-step instructions of how to use it in shock and save somebody's life. Like, these are important things to know. You never know when you might save somebody's life.
Agreed. And obviously, barring him being good now, right? You hope that there's no long-term effects, or this doesn't affect him in general, but also his budding career that we assume he will have
Yeah.
down the line. Obviously, the first thing everyone, at least in my work, was talking about after it was like, okay, he's stable, he's good, is like, does this affect the potential chance of him and LeBron playing together again? That seems so minuscule in terms of like anything right now, but
Right.
it is definitely something that was, you think about after you hear he's all right, and everybody's, going to be okay. So,
Yeah, and I
um,
mean, again, that is the most important thing. But you're right.
right.
I mean, we all keep saying, and I've been guilty of saying this on the podcast a bunch, is where I say, I think LeBron is going to retire when he plays with the Sun. I mean,
Mhm.
we are taking a lot for granted there. I think, thankfully Bronny's fine. Because you never know what can happen. Leave us a review on iTunes, good or bad. We will read them on the show. If you're not an Apple user, anywhere else you can find a podcast, you can find us. And of course, watch the podcast on YouTube. Just search Driving Dish NBA Podcast. And now a word from our sponsors.
So we come back and let's talk a tad about Jaylen Brown's extension. I guess
Historic extension.
massive extension. obviously the Supermax, signing for 304 mil, which per the reports is the richest deal in NBA history. Um, Congratulations, Jaylen Brown. Uh, do you have any beef with the extension? I feel like most people are like, well, he's part of the core. He's the number two guy behind Jason Tatum. Um, and so here we are. Like, why wouldn't you pay him, right?
Yeah, I mean, 5-year deal, no player
Mhm.
option. Like this is his contract, the richest in NBA history. So obviously, big congrats to him. I mean, talk about cashing out. It's the ultimate dream, right? Um,
Mhm.
I think Boston has to do this. And I think for one, it just puts to bed all the uncertainty, right?
It
Like it's
does.
it's been a,
Well,
a lingering swirl of trade rumors nonstop around these two guys, even after they made the finals. The way they went out last year, I think there were people questioning again. When in reality, it's like Jaylen Brown is an elite NBA talent. You max these guys. Now, the new cap makes it certainly a lot more difficult. And that's
does
something
it
that Boston is going to have to contend with.
does
Um,
it have any concern in your mind, like, richest deal? I know how these things, these deals work out. It's, you know, down the line, someone will pass him and it'll just keep going up. But it does feel odd that, like, he's not, I guess, the number one guy on Boston right now. Like, that's obviously Tatum. But like you said, you got to do the deal. You got to lock down your guys. And Jason or Jaylen Brown being the number two guy on any team, and you saw how good the Celtics were last year. Like, you would 10 out of 10 run that back.
Well, and they have a championship window. That's the most important
Right.
thing is like it's there. They've got to the finals. Like it's a valid team to build around. And so at that point, you keep Jaylen Brown on the roster because you want to get that continuity going. Like I know they made some pretty big changes with, especially in the locker room, with guys like Marcus Smart going, with guys like Grant Williams going. Like that is a pretty big culture change. And so to that extent too, I think you don't want to entirely overhaul it. I do think Tatum is the one there, and I think Jaylen is the two. Don't search my tweets for May 2023. I promise I've always felt that way. But I do think, Jalen's flaws, unfortunately, kind of to that point, I think are going to get brought into the spotlight more. Um, can he dribble into traffic
Mhm. Mhm.
what's his handle look like? Is he going to just put his head down and bull into traffic sometime? Like there are situations of games where, especially in the playoffs, where it feels like Jaylen Brown has just gone passive and not even touched the ball. Like that's unacceptable now with how much he's getting paid. Like you and JT need to be the guys if you're going to win a title. Like this is your team, this is your shot, essentially.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, when you look at the moves they made, I mean, Derek White is still there. Of course, they held on to Brogdon when all was said and done. Bringing in Porzingis, like, you're trying to max out Al Horford's years, last few, like, see what you can do. Like, this team's championship window is wide open in an Eastern Conference where we don't know what's going to happen with Miami and Dame Lillard still. Milwaukee just got bounced in the first round. Don't even talk to me about the Sixers at this point. So yeah, it's pretty wide open. Like I think you got to
Yeah.
feel good if you're Boston to have another chance to go and win this again next year. So I mean, it's not going to be the richest in NBA history for long, just because I think, oh no,
Chandler Parsons.
oh my god, you scared me. That does make sense. Did he play for the Hawks?
Definitely. I think, hold on, let me make
Did he?
sure. I'm almost positive he did.
Oh my god, dude, I'm not gonna lie, that scared me a little bit. When the arms went back up and you leaned back, I thought you were gonna tell me we weren't recording or something. I'm like,
No.
I'm like, I'm like, the icon's on. I see it this time
I
around.
I'm like the crazy person. Yeah, he played 5 games for the Hawks before injury, I would assume. But I don't want to assume. That was 2019, 2020. Played 5 games for the Hawks.
Wow. Okay. I didn't remember that. I knew he played in Memphis for sure. That one. Okay. Anyway, yeah, okay. That would have worked.
Sorry,
No, that's
derailed
fine. We
us.
got one. I mean, it's gonna the Brooklyn and uh Grizzlies one is gonna pop up too. No doubt
Yeah,
in my
yeah,
mind. I'm
that's
gonna
the
think
last
about
one
it
we need,
later.
right? Brooklyn. Yeah, that would have been Brooklyn. Okay.
So
So
anyway, yeah, no, they gotta max the window. And there are people. I don't know. I've there's a lot of negativity around Jaylen Brown. I think given how Game 7 went, I think that's just the most recent image in everyone's mind. You know, I
Yeah.
also think
But
when
but
Jaylen
but,
Brown
like,
gets on a heater,
who would
like
you rather have than Jaylen Brown as your number 2 on the team? Like, what are your other options? Why would you want anybody else you move with? Like, Brown just fits with the timeline of the
yeah.
team. Like,
Well, and
it's
nobody realistic. That's the thing is like if you want
right.
to move Jaylen Brown, that's fine, but like it's gonna be moving deck chairs essentially. Like if you move Jaylen Brown for Damian Lillard, you're still gonna be really good. Are you gonna be a
But
guarantee though to win the title? I don't know. Like maybe where I
I
don't
would
think
s
it's gonna be
yeah,
that much different than it is with Jaylen Brown right now.
it might be a
Um,
step or 2 above it, but, at that point, you get
Dame is a
into
better
the,
player than
"Okay, how much
Jaylen
we"
Brown, but I think when you look at the context of everything and what it would cost and all that,
that's what I
like
mean, yeah.
the team as a whole is not going to be better. And I don't know, like Jaylen Brown is not going to lose his value either to me. Like I don't think
Right.
like there's still going to be plenty of teams who take a swing on him if Boston keeps winning. Um, or if it stinks, then they're screwed. But that's how the NBA works, right? Like it's how
Yeah.
any of these NBA contracts work. Like they're paying him to be a bona fide number one caliber star. I think Jaylen Brown can be that. I think they made the finals 2 years ago, so they have a lot of context to base that off of. Like, I know they've been disappointing in the playoffs at times, but like, I also know a lot of teams, CR Sixers, that would love for that disappointment at this point.
Yeah. And so, the other topic that we wanted to hit on the podcast is another team that has some really good positive vibes around them, and that's the Oklahoma City Thunder. Wow, Thunder. They're signing their head coach to a multi-year contract. That was per the team's report. Obviously, with OKC, the big thing here is the team is so young, the coach is so young. I made the joke about it before we started. He's only 6 years older than us, which is depressing as hell because he's making a lot more money than I am. But money is not everything. I'll just keep telling myself that. But that's
I was like,
the
don't make this dark on me. Wait a minute. Wait, we can't end like that. Um, the craziest part is so Mark Daniel was 38. He just got this extension. And it was interesting because they
yeah,
said multi-year and they never really fleshed out however many it was gonna
right.
be. He was a runner-up in the Coach of the Year award last year. They improved by 16 games. And more importantly, like I have no idea if he's a good enough coach come meaningful NBA games or not. But right now, he's coached to develop players and build culture and build continuity. And he's done that on pretty much
Yeah,
every player that they brought in that's young has improved there. Like Gilgeous Alexander had by far the best year of his career last year. Josh Giddey has improved every year he's coming to the league. Jalen Williams had a great rookie year. He's going to get Chet Holmgren in the lineup. Like that.
yep,
We'll see there what Chet can do right away off injury, but
yeah,
the early
yeah.
returns at summer league seem to be pretty positive. Like, even guys like Lou Dort more around the edges, like he's got the most out of them. I don't know. Like to me, it feels like you said everything is trending in the right direction there. Like your young guys are getting better. You've got a ton of
Yeah.
draft picks. You're going to be in a position to trade for any superstar that goes on the market. And as long as your young guys continue to develop and stay the course, like why would there's no reason to change it right now. And to that extent, if none of your guys especially seem to have any issue with it, then yeah, I think you keep rolling. Like Mark Daniels, the question marks around him are going to come in the next few years, right? It's going to be as the timeline starts
It's
to
once it's time
increase.
to yeah, once it's time to 100%
A
win,
win?
right? Like the expectations are get into the playoffs, win, make it to the next round. That's when it's like, okay, the coaching side of this thing's going to get a little more under the microscope. But for now, the development and the camaraderie that you want to see from these guys is all we need. And I think Thunder fans may say, like, we want to see some winning and stuff like that. And I get it. But like, you're also in a position that I think a lot of teams would love to be in right now.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I think they have arguably the brightest future out of anybody in the NBA. Like, I think when you look at, I mean, they don't have a window that's open. So I guess it's hard for
Sure.
me to say. But if we're talking the long term outlook, who's better? I mean, maybe San Antonio because they just drafted Wemby and they have a bunch of picks too. But like OKC has double-digit first-round picks here in the next few years, and they already have potentially 4 or 5 bona fide. Like Gilgeous-Alexander's a star. You've already got one. If any of these guys develop into that, at the worst, it looks like they're certified starters, bona fide role players. Like there's a lot to be excited about Oklahoma City because I am. Giddey's still really young. I'm bullish on his development. If Chet Holmgren can stay healthy, I think he's going to be a good pro. Like, there's just a lot to be excited about. And again, you just hope they don't just panic and overreact. But they also have so many picks that I don't know what that looks like. Like any superstar, any remotely young superstar that becomes available, or even just a good player, like a Pascal Siakam, for example. If he's unsatisfied with Toronto, like somebody that would maybe fit their timeline, like they just have that flexibility. If Jaylen Brown had become available, like they would be a prime team that to me should trade for Jaylen Brown and maybe accelerate that timeline a little bit. Again, they have options and it should work. More importantly, like you have to be pretty excited about it.
So I looked up the last answer.
Okay.
Do you want me to start pushing you in the right direction to end it on a high note?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, you can push me in the right direction and me on a high note. It's not Royce O'Neal, right?
It might be. This is not the player. This player's might be I'm pretty sure this player would be more notable.
Okay.
Than Royce O'Neal.
Played
for the Hawks in 2013, 2014, and 2014, 2015. And then played for Brooklyn 4 years later, 2017 to 2018 and 2018 to 2019. Now, the hint that will probably get you there is he was one of the quote-unquote LeBron James stoppers in the playoffs.
Oh, it's a PJ? Was PJ in Memphis?
Mm-mm. Different LeBron James stopper.
Who was other LeBron James?
Wait, Memphis. No, not Memphis. Yes, Memphis.
No, yeah, it's Memphis and Brooklyn.
Memphis and Brooklyn. So played for Memphis actually his first season. I told you Houston. Played for Memphis his first season, which was 2009 to 2010 and 2010 to 2011. Which might be why it would be hard to get this because I guarantee you not many people knew about him.
I know
when he was at
just
Memphis.
Trying to think of like who did people say was a LeBron stopper? It didn't stop. Is it all right? So which one of the oh my god, it's not. Is it Danny Granger?
Nope. But this guy got I'm almost positive he got his notoriety as the LeBron James stopper on the Hawks.
LeBron James.
If I have the timeline right.
Oh, dude, is it DeMarre Carroll? Okay.
Yep.
I would have never. That does make sense. I remember him playing for Brooklyn late. You're right. He was one of the depth guys there. He was really good in Atlanta. You're right. I would have never got. I've completely. Well, we're not talking about Brooklyn. We're talking about Memphis.
Right, and that's what even threw me off as I was thinking Hawks.
He does.
And
he's
Brooklyn.
on all three.
But he does check off all three. He was. I mean, I'm guessing he was essentially drafted by Memphis because that's his first team. So
that did make it. The LeBron stopper on the Hawks made it easy. That was the giveaway. I do remember him being the defensive guy on that team. He was on the Atlanta team that they all won Player of the Month or whatever. It was him and Korver, Jeff Teague, who we mentioned earlier, and Horford, and Paul Millsap. Paul Millsap was the fourth one.
Wow, Paul Millsap, what a guy.
Yeah, him and Horford, really solid front court. Thank you, everyone, for listening to this episode of the Driving Dish NBA podcast. Appreciate you guys, as always. Leave us a review on iTunes, good or bad. I'll read them on the podcast. If you're not an Apple user, Google Play Store, Spreaker, Spotify, Amazon Music, TuneIn, anywhere you find a podcast, you can find us.
Yep, and you can always hit us up on X. You can just find us on our handles.
Dude, that's so gross. Don't encourage this. Don't encourage. We're not. I don't care. They can call it X whatever they want. It's always going to be Twitter. The bird is one thing, but nobody is going to call it anything other than Twitter.
So yeah, you can find us on Twitter and obviously on YouTube. We put a video version of the podcast, so you can yell at us for not getting our picks right away. There, and you can also subscribe so that you get notifications when episodes are coming out. That way you know to look for them.